Hello and welcome to the Glow Up Method. This is the place where we talk all things about healing, growth, rediscovering ourselves, all in this pursuit to live a life that we are proud of. Hello, my name is Natasha and I'm so excited to be here with you today. I'm actually really excited. It's a little bit late. It's about 10:41, which has kind of been late for me lately. I've been passing out pretty early. Life has been lifing over here. But I have to say, today's episode is about finding the strength and your courage and support in your community and friendships. Today has been, and I can just take these last 24 hours, have been the most loving and supportive 24 hours of this journey, outside of my family, outside of my kids. It has reinvigorated, and I can't wait to get into all the details, me so much so that I hope that if you're in a place where you are needing clarity and support and love, that you have friendships and communities too that will help and be that leg, that person, that thing you can lean on, just as they've been, you've been for them. So it's this beautiful, harmonious thing. And for so many years of my life, I really didn't have the courage to admit, to be vulnerable and say, my life is effed up right now. I always wanted to keep this persona. Everything's fine. Everything's okay. Don't look over here. Oh my gosh. And I was so willing to support everybody in anything that they were going through. Yet when I came to something, I didn't feel like there was a space for me to have any kind of anything less than perfect and support and I'm fine. I didn't feel comfortable doing that because I didn't want to burden anyone. They're already going through so much. They're busy. They're this, they're that. And what the beauty of this glow up journey of mine has been is realizing I don't have to do this life alone. We weren't just born one person here on earth. We are born into a social community for a reason. And yeah, sometimes that social may be here where we're connecting virtually, right? Where I am talking to people that live in entirely different states. And I feel like I know them. And when I don't see a comment from them, or I do, I notice you're there and you notice me and you're a friendship. And then I also have friendships in real life. And today has been just this remarkable day. So for those of you that don't know, and that are maybe just tuning in, I'm going to give you the quick Cliff Note version. I was married, and I'm still technically married because no paperwork has been filed yet, but that will change soon. As of right now, I am still a technically married woman. I was married for 25 years. I came from divorce, and I became a parent myself because I was born to teen parents. And I had some really tumultuous, crazy things happen in my really early part of my years. And, I got so accustomed to the chaos, and then my mom left. And even though it was peaceful in some ways and quiet because there was nobody to, fighting beyond my brother and I or whatever, there was also this loss. There was this absence. And there were parts of me as a child that would have taken the chaos over the absence because I didn't understand, I can understand that we weren't going to live together, but I didn't understand, where did you go? Where are you? I want my mom. I'm sick or I'm hurt, and all of a sudden you're just gone, and I'm 5, and it's not like we have cell phones or any of these things. It's just, you're just gone. You're not a part of my life anymore. I'm trying to understand, and I'm trying to, process and understand probably whatever my little brain could have done at that time, all the crazy things that it had experienced up until that point. And so somewhere in my brain, I became crazy loyal, and I became one of those people that I'm never going to leave anybody. People will leave me. That's fine. I'm used to this, but I will never be a person that will leave you. That is not who I am. I am loyal to a fault. And I had great intentions. Everything in me, even though Chris and I from day one, and I'm not exaggerating, we were just not very compatible. We argued all the time. We were just so polar opposite. And I think that in so many ways, we were both so broken. And, I think, I don't know these terminologies nowadays and all this stuff, these trauma bonds. Like, I don't know about all those things. All I know is I don't need a label and I don't need all these things, like all these words and stuff like that. Like, I hear words about narcissists and gaslighting. Listen, I don't care about the words. I'm telling you the experience of it. I don't need the freaking label. But maybe there was a trauma bond. I don't know. I don't really know what it is, so I can't say yes or no. But like, here we are, two broken kids, and we find ourselves pregnant, and we do what we think we're supposed to do. And so, anyways, long story short of it is we were married for technically 25 years, which is more than half of my life, right? So that's a huge thing. And then suddenly, even though it wasn't sudden, because, I've only been recording since January, the destruction of our relationship, the disintegration of it, has been fully documented on here. And, as I watch it back, I see the days where I had hope, even when the hope was almost like gone, because, there was this thing about a separation, and I held hope. Like, I was like, okay, yeah. And I agreed to it. And there were moments I felt a lot of relief, but then there was also this sadness because I wanted to keep my family intact. I wanted to remain friends. I wanted this peace so much. I wanted this fantasy of this reality that just simply wasn't there. And so, like I said, the little girl in me doesn't, want to hurt the little kid in Chris. And, it just gets so convoluted, right? Because I just want good. Like, I want to see the good in people, and I do usually. And when something goes wrong, I just don't understand it because my brain doesn't think like that. My brain, I don't often watch shows and movies and things like that has that kind of content. I have when I was a kid or younger, but now I just am so selective of what comes in to my world, into my brain. And I don't enjoy watching things that are harmful, like where somebody gets harmed, where, there's crime scenes and psychological. And in a way it scares me because I just don't understand it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, is this what the world is like outside of my brain and outside of my little bubble here? Like, forget it. I'm scared. I don't want to know these things. I just don't want to think about it. And I understand that that's not how everybody is. And so for me, as I've had more distance and more days and hours and minutes have gone by where Chris and I are not together, it's still so much a bad habit of mine to worry about Chris. I mean, I literally wake up and it doesn't matter if it's 2 a.m, 3 a.m, 6 a.m, 8 a.m. I wake up and it's the first thing I think about. I still am worried about him. And then if anything is going on, I'm still worried about him. I have this like hold over me. And it's been frustrating, right? Because I'm like, he's not sitting here worrying about me. He wasn't even sitting here worrying about me when we were married. The last thing he's doing right now is worrying about me. I mean, he abruptly left. He is creating a new life with a new person, and he is spending time with those kids and not his kids. He has literally seen and spent a holiday with the kids, and he has not seen, like, before he has seen his son's here. Like, he has spent more time with them than he has my 19-year-old since he left. He has spent more time with those kids than he has my daughter since he's left. He spent more time with those kids, and in a duration, like maybe that amount of time with my son, because if you added up all the car rides, maybe he spent that much time with him. So it's shocking, right? Like, how is this person that was this part of this family just suddenly gone? And it's jarring. It's just jarring. And I would have been okay with it certain ways. And again, this is not going to happen the way I want it to. Like, it's not a pretty little bow when you're breaking up with somebody, right? It's just not going to be that way. But I am now in this place where I am in a new chapter of my life. He is in a new chapter of his own life. And our chapters look very different. And, it's been a journey. It's been a struggle. I've been on here. I haven't been on here. I have been in physical pain from an injury. I've had it all. Like I said here, I feel like it's like the burning down of the phoenix, whatever that thing is. I feel like whatever it's a mass destruction. Like, anyway, I'm going to strip her of the dancing. I'm going to strip her of walking. I'm going to strip her of having things like heat sometimes. I'm going to strip her of this idea of having a family. I'm going to strip her of financial means, like every possible thing that could be except for the fact that my kids are healthy ish. One keeps getting injured on an injured knee, and I love to watch my son and support him, but it is almost the most nerve-wracking thing I experience. I feel like I'm just, when every minute he plays, I'm on edge. And then he goes down, and of course he's going down on the knee, and and then he's limping. It's just absolutely torture. But I show up anyways, because it's not about me. It's about supporting him. And so anyways, actually, because of that, I had the luxury of having a really special day. Originally, I was like, hey, I have plans. Chris, can you, I'll take Tyler. Can you bring him home from the game? He's like, oh, I'm not going, like, I'm not planning on going. So, that started a whole thing, because it's like, no, you're also the parent. Like, you can't, like, I need things and anyways, again, I won't get into that, but nonetheless, we are where we are with that. He chooses to neglect and abandon his kids. That's on him. It is Saturday night, and I'm here home with my kids. And so, it doesn't mean I have to be, but this is where I choose to be. And I will always prioritize, and I will always love my kids, and I will always show up for them, even to soccer games when they give me torture inside, because I love them. So anyways, one of my sons didn't have a game. So here's the beautiful day I had today. So again, I'm still taking my power back, since, my husband was, the woman that initiated the affair, was is a yoga instructor. I was pissed at yoga. I would literally, because again, I love my friends. I love my community. I love strong women. And it hasn't always been that way. Like, women used to be this really intimidating thing, because again, I wasn't around a lot of women until I was around my aunties more and my grandma more. And I began to see that women are not this unsafe, unhealthy thing. And I found so much love in my grandma. I found so much love in my aunties, and they created this special thing. I then later on, like in school again, I then got kind of jaded from girls, right? Because girls were mean. And I'm not saying I was perfect in any of the scenarios, but like, I was bullied, particularly by girls. I was really alienated. I didn't fit in. I felt such rejection, and I felt really alone. But then I went to high school, and I met this girl, and her name was Lori, and she was so welcoming to me, and she was funny as hell. And she just, like, I literally remember the room we were standing in on the first day of school, because we had to like pick up books or do something like that. And we just started goofing around and talking. And I was like, she almost like when my littlest son went to preschool, he was like reluctant, didn't want to go, but he had this little buddy that was also going, and he was super outgoing. He's still to this day same kid as he was in preschool, and like literally grabbed my son's hand and like walked him into the class. Like, this is what we do, kid. Like, ain't no time for the crying, no time for like, we're going. And they like literally held hands. And then I think for the rest of their preschool experience, every day it was like, hold hands, go in, but it was almost like that same thing. It was like almost like she was so nice and welcoming to me. It was like holding my hand and being like, you're welcome here. Like, you belong here. And so, her and I were great friends all through high school. We even won like partners in crime in the yearbook, and we always got into some shenanigans. And I adore Lori, like so much so. So then again, I felt safe in the presence of women. And as I've, grown up, like I've shared on here, I've had a son that has had a brain tumor. I've had sons that have had multiple knee surgeries, hernia surgery, like ear surgery, heart surgeries. Women have become this source of like just human kindness. They've, helped and, taken kids on rides, brought food over, just been there to listen and hear and hug. And again, women were these things that I'm like, man, you go to the park and somebody falls down. I'm like, here's a Band-Aid, here's the thing. It, goes through these waves with my relationship with women. And ever since then, like, I adore women. So the fact that a woman did this to me, like, I get a guy. Like, not saying he didn't do anything. Because again, he's the one who has a vow with me. Nobody else. But there's just something that eats me, is because, like, no, we are girls. We are on the same squad. Guys are going to do what they're going to do. We cannot control that. But we as women can be a unit and be like, listen, I don't care what he's doing. And now it would be a whole different scenario if she was lied to and didn't know. But I had asked a clarifying question. Did she know that you lived at home with your wife and 4 kids? And he said yes. And that, like, was a dagger to the heart. I was like, wow, just wow. So anyways, I now have, like, instead of being mad at yoga and instead of being mad at her, what I have done is I was like, I need to take a yoga class and take my power back, because yoga really helped me a lot in the beginning of the journey. Because I was like, hey, what do you mean? I can, like, literally lay and just, like, move my arms and legs and stand in weird positions, and somehow that's gonna, like, help my physique and make me healthier. Like, sign me up. I can do that. Like, and I've obviously progressed and do a lot more cardio and things like that now, but it was this safe place for me. And so yoga was like this sacred thing. It was something I really, I loved it. I don't find a lot of time in my day now, but if I had endless hours, yoga would be a part of my everyday. And I loved the instructors. Every instructor I've ever met, except for one, she was a little really good, but just a little off. But everyone was so phenomenal, was so kind and welcoming and informative. So to, like, take it to boot and be like, and you're a yoga instructor? Like, are you serious? And I know nobody's on any pedestal. Nobody's like, everybody can do something. But I'm like, where are the namaste vibes, girl? Like, where are the namaste vibes? This is not namaste vibes, lady. This is like nasty vibes, okay? So you're on the nasty train. But anyways, so I have begun doing yoga again. So I want to say thank you to Miss Yogini over there for reminding me how much my power is and reminding me to go back into yoga. And I know, but it seems crazy, right? But it's the perfect time because I'm injured. It gives me this opportunity to still do things. And I've been doing these back care classes. So I'm really doing something that's going to help me. So overall, I say thank you. You have taken the dead weight from me that I would not have left Chris. I just wouldn't have. I am too loyal. It is the reason why I'm a smart girl. I can go get divorce papers filed or write them up myself. I'm smart enough. But I couldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. It just is everything against me. And so, yes, I may think in my mind and be like, oh, maybe somebody's out there, or maybe these things. But always at the core of me, always at the core of my heart, I thought one day, some way, he would wake up and understand all I ever wanted was to be his friend and grow from there. I didn't want the fights like I had when I was a little girl and hear it. And I didn't want the stress when he came home. What kind of person? I just wanted somebody who was kind to me. So when his girlfriend wasn't talking to him for that temporary period where we were broken up, he had moved out and he was being kind to me, I was like, where was this guy? And it was really confusing because it was like, I didn't like him, then I liked him. And then I was like, oh my gosh, do I want to be with him again? Do you, all these things. And I felt really conflicted and confused. And so I'm really, really glad that she, number one, encouraged him to leave. And I know it's really hard on my kids. And I know it's really hard on me. And maybe somewhere it's hard on Chris. I don't know his story. But at the end of the day, between the two of them, whatever the motivation was, they did something I was unable to do that I probably needed to do. So that's a number one, thank you. Number two, she allowed me to remember that you could take a lot of things from me. You can take my husband, you can take whatever you want, but you can't take me away. that I can still find my power in something. And it's not yoga's freaking fault, right? It's not yoga's fault. And so me understanding that we're all human, she's having her own human experience. And again, I'm a pretty smart person based on her pictures with a cocktail in her hand and her breasts hanging out. And you know that I can tell she wants attention. I can tell she wants somebody to play dad to her kids. And I can tell that maybe on paper, Chris looked like the best dad in the world. I'm a great dad. I go do these things. And at the end of the day, most of it was all my kicking him in the butt. Like, do this, do this, do this, which made him just hate me more because I was his mommy, like telling him what to do constantly. And he just wanted to be a teenage kid like he is right now. And he just wants to live his life and live his life free and be a parent when he can or when he wants, if he wants. And again, I'm not his kid. And I don't need to sit there and micromanage those relationships anymore. He wants to show up, he'll show up. If he wants to take them out, he wants to spend time with them, he is a smart man and he'll figure that out. It is no longer my job. I am here to support my kids, zip my lip and not say a thing about their father, and just let him say whatever. Let his actions scream volumes to them. They'll figure it out. They're very intelligent kids. And so at the end of the day, I'm this far and I haven't even got to all the good stuff. So anyways, yesterday I was reluctant. So originally Chris was supposed to take my son, you know, it was his day to take my son to his practice and to go to, what do we call this thing? A parent meeting. And I went back and forth and it was like, well, no, he's going out. So I'm like, so now it's defaulted to me. There isn't like he found somebody else to go. I'm the other parent. And I went back and forth and I'm like, I have been sacrificing to be here for the kids, for everything. I have shown up 100% for them, but my tank is getting low. And I've already cut back the days I go to the gym because of financial reasons and time reasons and sometimes just the motivation to get out of the bed reasons and the back reasons, like so many reasons. I've been more strategic about the days because I just don't have that disposable time or income anymore. So I had planned on going and I went back and forth. I talked to two of my kids. I'm like, what should I do? And they were like, go, there's your answer in the way you're saying it. So I went yesterday and I was so glad. It was just so nice to just see everybody. It was so nice to just have people come up and give me a hug. We've missed you. Like not only you, like physically here, but we miss the essence of you. But we understand that you're going through a lot. We can see it in your face. We don't need to even know what's happening to know that there's something going on. And it's so nice just to see you here in any state you are. And we can't wait until you're back to who you are on a daily basis. And so like that it was just this reminder that I was slowly kind of coming out of my shell again. I was slowly emerging. There were moments in this class where I just was carefree and having a good time and, you know, hooting and hollering and doing things. But then there were moments that it was like suddenly there was maybe a song that kind of triggered me a little bit, or there's a move or a dance that again was a little more painful. And so it was a little more thing. So, you know, even my class was more of a kind of this, but it was so good to be with friends. And so this morning I think that's where I started. I opted to do yoga again, to take my back care class. And again, I got in and I just said, thank you. Like, thank you to the woman that reminded me about yoga. It like reminded me that you don't get the power to take this from me. And I don't have to hate this whole practice anymore just because you're a part of it, because my good will outweigh like that, my good feelings, my getting stronger, my reconnection with it. I appreciate that. So I say thank you to her for that. And then after that, I had a girlfriend who was like, let's meet up. And I'm like, okay, I have like 45 minutes in between this class and the next class. She was coming to the next class with me because my instructor was in Pleasanton. He isn't usually on a Saturday. He was doing a master class. And so we sat and we talked out in the sun, and it was just a beautiful conversation. It was friend to friend, heart to heart, no judgment, no anything, just solid advice, solid listening, and solid genuine care. And she reminded me, she's like, you are such a beautiful person and a beautiful spirit. Don't let what two people are doing, don't let it diminish your light. You have such a good spirit about you that there are so many new doors and chapters that are opening that you can't even see. And her just saying this to me, it just was so heartfelt. Like she was literally in tears. She's like, I just feel like I need to tell you this. And it just felt so nice to hear. It felt so nice to know that this is what someone is wanting for me. Like someone is believing in me. So then I had another friend come and I said, I have so many guest passes, don't pay, like, so she said, okay, I'm here. So I went and let her in and we all were talking. A lot of us were out there talking and it was just so great to see everybody. And then we went in and danced, and for 50 minutes, all I did was dance. I didn't care about any of the problems. I wasn't Natasha, the new single mom. I wasn't Natasha, the divorcee. I wasn't Natasha, the mom. I wasn't Natasha, the wife. I just was me, having fun and dancing with a bunch of other, I think it was mostly women, and of course our instructor who's a male, and just having a great time. And, it finished and I ended up chatting with one young girl who I adore. She's actually the one I'm supposed to go to Europe with. Well, it's not going to happen this January, and I don't even know if it's going to happen in July, but we will still go. We will still go. Some way, somehow, we are going. And, I just had the most beautiful conversation with her. I just loved it so much. I felt like she was there to definitely, like for me, she was saying, I love hearing your stories and I love seeing your progress because it shows me what's possible. When I don't know if I can do things, I look at you or I hear your story and it reminds me what is possible with hard work, with discipline, and with consistency. Like, it is possible. The life I want to live, the health, the emotions, those things. She's like, it's possible. And so you give me that. And it was just this reminder. And she's like, I can't wait to read your book one day. I can't wait. Like, she's like, you should do a podcast. And I just sit there and go, I'm not gonna say anything. But, you should do something. Cause she's like, you not only took an experience where you learned something and you benefited from it, but you're not taking your experience and you share it with the world. She just meant her specifically. She didn't know how much of the world I'm sharing it with, but and she's like, and that's such a beautiful thing. That is your purpose. That was your mission. Like, that is why you go through these trials, and then you learn from them, and then you share from that experience and you help others. And I was like, almost in tears. I was like, wow, like that's amazing. And I was like, of course, very supportive of her and her journey. I don't want to get into her business, but just that. And it was just such a big, she's like, you were in flow today. You need to go home and start writing. But I couldn't go home and start writing because, as I was talking about earlier, my dear friend Lori had invited me over. And that's why when it was such this important thing. And then Chris couldn't help today. He didn't want to go to his son's game. He had other plans that he wanted to do, or other arrangements, whatever. I was like so sad because I wanted to go to this like cookie making thing with all my daughters out of town, so I couldn't go with her, but like all the daughters were there and sons and kids and stuff, and they're younger than mine, so I wanted to go. And it was like my bestie Lori, it was my friend Michelle, my friend Gina's sister Lauren, the kids, and I just really wanted to experience this. And again, I didn't know if I was going to be able to do so, and then the way life worked, because he was injured, I was actually able to go. And I'm so glad I did, because it's just old friends, right? Like, it's friends, and there's no judgment, and they're so freaking funny. They're hilarious. So I just laugh, and we share stories, and we walked and saw Christmas lights, and we ate and drank and did all those things. And it was just, today was a beautiful day. It was an absolutely beautiful. The unfortunate part was I had to be in the same city as I don't know if Chris was there, but where the girlfriend lives. And I was just like, oh my gosh, if I drive and see them, I'm gonna, that's too much for me. I'm just hoping that where these people live and where they live are nowhere near each other. I'm like, please don't put me in the line of fire here. But thankfully the crisis averted. I did not see them. I didn't drive past them. I was like, get in, get out. So I say all this to say, friendships have become such an important part of this journey for me. Today was filled with love and friendship and care. And so I know that at times you go through things, and I know that sometimes it's kind of hard for us to be open and vulnerable and say we're hurting and we need somebody, or just to say anything. A lot of times, like for someone like me, I held it in and I thought I could figure it all out on my own. And what I've learned in this part of the journey is that community and friendships are such a pivotal part of healing. They're such a pivotal part of growing. And they're just such a pivotal part of just feeling good. And those are the people I love. And I'm just so grateful that these beautiful souls have come into my life at just the right time. And I've come into theirs. And it's this symbiotic relationship. It is this place where I can offer care, but I can also receive it. And sometimes there's no care needed, like we're just having a time, So I say all that to say, if you're going through something, there is no shame in the game about reaching out to a friend. I know it's really hard to do. I know it's really, and then, like sometimes it's just like a complaint session. We don't want to complain, right? Like, I mean, we got to get it out. We got to get it out. But also it's like, how do I get it out and how do I move forward? And I think that's the beauty of these friendships. None of them are just allowing me or encouraging me to just ruminate in it. Whereas my old relationships, my old life was about the rumination. Like if anybody talked about it, I typically didn't talk about any of my problems, but they would just ruminate and it was the same conversation over, but without the progress. And so what I'm so appreciative of is the people that I have attracted into my life and that I have been attracted to are vibing at a different frequency. They have different goals and they have different, mindsets. And as a result, in a situation like this, that even in the midst of like the hardest chapter of my life, arguably one of the hardest ones, during the holidays and kids' birthdays and all this stuff, I feel pretty good. And I'm really, really grateful for them. And so I'm really grateful for today. And I hope that if you're going through something, that you have even just one friend that you can lean on. And it was this beautiful thing today. And it was a reminder of, I was a Girl Scout leader. And it was a reminder about making new friends, but keep the old. One is silver and the other is gold. And I'm just so grateful for them all. I'm grateful for all the medals and all the kinds of friendships that there are out there. And I really do hope you have a good friend to reach out to. And if you don't, join a community, join this community, like do things to get out there. Because I think about it, half the people that I made today so bright, I didn't even know a few months ago or years ago. So, getting out there is scary sometimes. And when I started the gym, I was like, I don't even want to make a friend. This is like my place to go where nobody knows my name and I don't have to worry about anybody's problems. But I was different. And the people at the gym, they were different too. And so get out there. I know it may be scary. And I know there may have been times in your life that you didn't have good experiences. But I promise you to just give it another shot. You don't have to like that. You don't have, if you don't like it, you could go back to not. But utilize your community to help you get through some really tough times, just as much as you are being utilized when other people are going through their tough times. So I say all this to say, thank you so much. Thank you for being my friend. Like, I appreciate you so much. You have no idea. And I'm just really grateful for that. So please go out there today. Give somebody a big smile. Give them a compliment and just watch how they glow up. So thank you. Bye. Hopefully this thing clicks. I feel like I'm always like, bye.